My name is Ivory Beelan. I'm 11 years old. I'm in the 5th grade and I play French horn.
The student you just heard is a beneficiary of good fortune. Ivory was in the band room waiting for his brothers to be picked up after school, and he just started practicing on the instrument, one of their instruments, and I didn't know who it was. I just knew that it was an unfamiliar sound because I know my students. I walked out and I saw it was Ivory and couldn't believe how good he sounds. So I said, well, if he sounds this good on a euphonium, let me try him on French horn. I felt that he would not believe how difficult of an instrument it was, and because he wouldn't have a clue that it's a difficult instrument, he would jump to the task and just try to do the best he could. The piece he just played was called "The Sound of the Fury." It's a Robert Smith piece that's a grade 2, and he performed that piece without being in any class. There was no practice with me individually, except for one day a week before our first time performing that piece. He had a solo in the piece, which he just performed part of it, and Ivory did this without any classroom help. And I began to wonder, how could we enhance his skills? Phase 2 of our project, Music, a Sound Investment, focuses on students such as Ivory and other 4th and 5th graders who can grow into great musicians. The goal is that we develop students so much in 4th and 5th grade that when they get to 7th and 8th grade, not only are they great band students, but their academics improve and their behavior improves. I once asked my principal if she had a classroom full of athletes in first period and a classroom full of art students in second period, she had to get evaluated on one of those classes, who would she choose? She refused to answer the question, of course, because we know the answer. It's just an answer that we don't want to admit in education. But I feel that we need to focus on starting these students off and exploring their talents at a younger age. The timeline for this project has actually already began. We will start the project, and as far as students playing in class, on January 28th, But the project started a few months ago when I went to the elementary schools as stated in phase 1, and we performed for the elementary schools to get students excited about band. We did 2 or 3 performances in the elementary school with the marching band, some with the concert band, some with individual students, and we got the students excited about joining band. My goal was to have students another outlet, give them another chance to do something else besides playing sports. And of course, I'm speaking to the choir when I say I feel that the arts provide a lot more opportunity than sports does, but the students aren't exposed to that. So my goal is to get the students exposed to the arts through instrumental music first, and as we grow, we will explore other things that we can do in art. Moving forward, the first thing in the timeline is, of course, our first day of class. The second part of the timeline will be our first performance. Then our first performance will be in April, at the awards banquet for the elementary school awards day. Which they'll play something simple, just so they can get excited about performing. Then that same 4th and 5th grade group will be playing at their 5th grade moving on ceremony. Now this is significant because that's the first time that they get to do what the seniors do at graduation. At graduation, the band performs at graduation.